Welcome to African American History Lesson 48. In this video, we will examine the contributions of African Americans to the performing arts. In the shadows of segregation, African American artists lit the stage, screen, and concert hall with brilliance. Although denied full participation in American democracy, Black performers reshaped American culture. They elevated the everyday, resisted caricature, and turned rhythm, drama, and voice into powerful forms of expression and protest. During the 1930s and 1940s, African Americans made transformative contributions to American music, theater, and film, often redefining the genres they entered. In music, jazz and blues evolved into sophisticated art forms that carried the weight of Black life, its joys, sorrows, and hopes into clubs across radio waves and into concert halls across the nation. At the same time, African American playwrights and performers challenged the racial constraints of the stage, while pioneering Black filmmakers and actors disrupted Hollywood's stereotypical portrayals with complex characters and bold storytelling. The period was marked by both institutional exclusion and creative innovation. African American performers used their artistry to affirm identity, humanize their experiences, and shape national culture on their own terms. In the early 20th century, African American musicians and entrepreneurs found new pathways to reach national audiences through the rise of the Harlem Renaissance, the Jazz Age, and radio broadcasting. As jazz clubs thrived in cities like New York and Chicago, Black-owned record labels began producing music that carried the voices of African American vocalists and instrumentalists beyond segregated venues. For the first time, genres like blues, gospel, and jazz, which were all rooted in Black cultural traditions, were broadcast across the country, reshaping American popular music. These genres became vehicles for storytelling, emotional depth, and spiritual expression, allowing Black artists to assert their creative authority in an industry that often exploited them. Emerging from the spirituals and work songs of the enslaved, the blues served as both historical record and emotional outlet for African Americans in the post-emancipation South. Initially performed with acoustic instruments and steeped in local vernacular, the blues evolved during the Great Migration, when Black communities brought their sounds north. This migration gave rise to electrified blues, amplifying its themes of sorrow, resilience, love, and survival. Stylistic elements such as repetition, call and response, and improvisation created a dynamic musical form that honored ancestral memory while adapting to urban life. The blues offered more than entertainment. It conveyed a psychological and cultural truth about the Black experience in America. Born in the streets of New Orleans and shaped by African American musical ingenuity, jazz emerged as one of the most original contributions to global culture. Drawing from blues, ragtime, and African rhythmic traditions, jazz evolved as a genre of complexity and improvisation. As African Americans migrated to cities like Chicago, New York, Detroit, and Los Angeles, new styles emerged, from swing and bebop to cool jazz and free jazz. Artists such as Duke Ellington, Count Basie, and Charlie Parker helped transform jazz into an international art form that maintained deep roots in Black cultural expression. Jazz was not only music, it was a declaration of freedom, artistry, and intellectual sophistication that stood in defiance of racial hierarchies. Released in 1943, Duke Ellington's "It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing" is a defining anthem of the swing era and a testament to African American innovation in jazz. Blending sophisticated orchestration with infectious rhythm, the song captures the energy and improvisational spirit that made swing music a cultural force. With its iconic refrain, the piece not only popularized a new musical style, but also affirmed Black artistry at the center of American popular music. Ellington's work helped elevate jazz from entertainment to high art, challenging racial barriers in the music industry. Even in an industry shaped by exclusion, African American performers carved out spaces of visibility and artistry on stages and screens. Black talent flourished in Harlem's cabarets, on Broadway, and increasingly in film. Productions like Cabin in the Sky, 1943, showcased all-Black casts in major studio releases, while actors like Ethel broke new ground in television, becoming the first African American to lead her own show in 1939. These breakthroughs occurred alongside persistent typecasting and limited roles. However, black performers used every opportunity to portray complex characters and challenge dominant narratives. Whether through musicals, drama, or comedy, African American artists redefined what was possible in American entertainment, setting the stage for future generations of black excellence in performance. This image of Katherine Dunham in Cabin in the Sky captures the brilliance of one of the most influential African American performers and choreographers of the 20th century. Dunham, known for blending African diasporic dance traditions with classical ballet and modern technique, brought both innovation and dignity to the Broadway stage. Her performance in Cabin in the Sky, a groundbreaking all-black musical, helped redefine black representation in American theater. It showcased the depth, grace, and complexity of black movement and storytelling. Dunham's artistry embodied the cultural sophistication of African American performance during an era of profound racial limitation and creative resistance. Ethel Waters' performance in Cabin in the Sky, 1943, marked a historic moment in American film and black performance. As one of the first African American women to star in a Hollywood studio film with an all-black cast, Waters brought emotional depth, vocal power, and dramatic nuance to a role that challenged prevailing stereotypes. Her portrayal reflected the broader ambitions of the Harlem Renaissance generation to assert the complexity of black life on stage and screen. In doing so, Waters not only broke barriers in the entertainment industry, but also helped pave the way for future generations of black actresses and vocalists in American cinema. The 1943 film, Cabin in the Sky, brought together an extraordinary cast of African American performers, including Ethel Waters, Lena Horne, Eddie Rochester Anderson, and Louis Armstrong. This ensemble production marked a significant moment in Hollywood history because it featured an all-black cast in a major studio release at a time when African Americans were largely excluded from complex or leading roles. The film challenged industry norms by highlighting the talents of black actors, musicians, and dancers in roles that, although still shaped by the limitations of the era, allowed for greater depth and humanity than most mainstream portrayals. The cast of Cabin in the Sky exemplifies how black performers used their artistry to expand visibility and redefine representation on the American screen. In the 1930s and 1940s, African American artists transformed the cultural landscape of the United States through music, theater, and film. Despite facing systemic racism and exclusion, black performers asserted their creative agency in spaces that had long marginalized their voices. From the innovation of jazz and blues to groundbreaking performances on Broadway and in Hollywood, African American artists redefined what it meant to be both black and American in the performing arts. Their work not only challenged racial stereotypes, but also laid the cultural foundation for future movements in civil rights, black artistic expression, and American popular culture. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, please follow us on the social media platforms listed on the screen.